Right, let's talk about convoluted, shall we? Right then, hello, good evening, and good morning, and good afternoon, and wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Hello, wherever you are and wherever it is. My name is Paul, I'm also called Nik Nak. I'm the brains behind a whole series of fascinating brain teasers called The Daily Teaser. I also talk a lot about movies, I try and review them as well as I can. And I also talk about TV shows I've watched. You are probably going to be able to find all of that content in this little eye up in the corner here. You can find out all sorts of things by pressing it. At any rate, as I've already said, I watch TV shows, I try to review them when I can, and tonight, it's Sunday 5th of December, and I have just watched the last chapter, or the last episode of Doctor Who Series 13, Doctor Who Flux, and I wanted to tell you about it. Chapter 6, The Vanquishers, opens with a usual summary of previous episodes, and shows us that the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, is split into three separate parts. One held by Swarm and Azir, a second on the ship run and operated by Carvanista, and a third rejoining Yaz, Dan, Williamson, and Kate Stewart, played by Gemma Redgrave, who's leading human resistance to the Sontaran occupation. According to what one copy of the Doctor has found, the Sontarans are offering a truce to both Daleks and Cybermen. Another Doctor has crashed the Carvanista ship into the main Sontaran base because she wants herself and Carvanista to get captured so Belle, who's also with them, can sneak onto the Sontaran base. That main base is an important observatory in Chile, where the Sontarans are using captured human psychics to predict when and where the flux will hit, as the noted potato fans plan to lure the Daleks and Cybermen into a trap and use the flux to destroy both. Back at Williamson's excavations, the Doctor, Dan and Yaz are reunited alongside Williamson himself, happy to explain exactly what his site is. He's found many different rifts leading to different parts of the world and different parts of time as well. The team have also found at least one Sontaran is very, 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 very interested in chocolates. It means that they found an inn to plant a psychic under their control at the Sontaran base. In the midst of all this, the fact that the Doctor is also being held by the Ravagers and is being tortured so that Swarm and Azir can eventually hand her over to time itself is practically incidental. Now, what did I think of the Vanquishers and what did I think of Doctor Who Flux overall? Let's briefly cover the Vanquishers, shall we? I have to admit I am usually quite fond of Sontaran episodes, and in this particular one they did come off looking both stupidly ridiculous. Dan Starkey is always a good for a comedy Sontaran, and incredibly meaningfully menacing. You get to see why a Colonel Blimp-like alien is considered to be quite nasty. It's very well played, I thought. But on the whole, I have to admit to finding The Vanquishers yet another somewhat convoluted episode. Now, the Doctor split into three different versions of herself, one being hideously tortured, another one trapped with Carvanista, still another working with Yaz and Dan. And I mentioned a few weeks ago now, it should be on the video playlist, that I felt Once Upon a Time was convoluted, the third episode, but it was all the more watchable for that. The Vanquishers, on the other hand, Chapter 6, I'm not sure I could say the same about the Vanquishers. I can't fault the writing. I think this episode, indeed this series, represents some of Chris Chibnall's finest writing for the show. I can't fault the acting. The scenes between Yaz and the Doctor, for example, and the interplay with her and Dan, and the no traces of a possible Yaz and the Doctor romance. the various members of the supporting cast as well. Between this script and these actors, The Vanquishers is a very good episode indeed. I just personally wasn't totally, utterly drawn in. That third episode, Once Upon a Time, again it was convoluted, but I was riveted to it. Indeed, episodes 2, 3, 4 and 5, I gave them, all of them, 4 stars on my 4-star rating. It starts at 0, it ends at 4. 0, forget it. 4 stars is absolutely superb. So those mid-range episodes, from 2 to 5, have all earned 4 stars. I felt they were very good indeed and very watchable. The Vanquishers is a very good episode indeed, but I just could not honestly find myself as glued to it as I did those other episodes. Doctor Who Flux as a whole, though, as a collection of 6 episodes, despite what I felt about a slightly off last episode, this episode, 6th chapter, I felt that the series as a whole has been very good indeed. Mandeep Gill has finally had a chance to shine, and she's done some very good stuff, I felt. John Bishop seems to be a better fit with the other 2 members of the cast than Bradley Walsh did. The overall world building, I think, has been particularly good. We've had extra stuff about the Sontarans, who have been crying out for some more treatment, I think. And that world building is good. It leaves plenty for Russell T Davies to explore when he comes along, and it leaves plenty of questions for Chris Chibnall to answer. Is Bowen Vinder's baby, is that the timeless child? Is that the Doctor? We never saw that answer today. So we've got 3 or 4 more episodes for Chris Chibnall to answer us that one, and to explore his take on the universe. Frankly, The Vanquishers, I gave 3 stars on my 5-star scam. The series as a whole has walked away with 4 stars and is very, very good indeed. At any rate, they'll be back on New Year's Day, and I'm planning my next video review for next New Year's Day for Eve of the Daleks. I want to see what happens to that, and I hope you do too. I'll see you in the new year. Come back tomorrow for the daily teaser. Have a good day.